The term valedictorian is a derivation of the Latin phrase valedicere, which means to say farewell. Historically rooted in the valedictorian's role as the last speaker at the graduation ceremony, the valedictory address is generally considered to be a final farewell to classmates before they pursue their individual paths following graduation. As a footnote, of course, we know that for believers, all farewells and goodbyes are temporary until we have that time of our great eternal reunion. For the Academy of Biblical Character Development, the valedictorian is the highest-ranked student based on subject area grades and performance on standardized testing. This year's valedictorian has distinguished himself not only academically, but in his service through the Boy Scouts and to his church family, and, most importantly, in his knowledge of the Holy Scriptures. It's my pleasure to introduce my brother in Christ, David Enoch Cleland, as this year's valedictorian.
Well, I don't really know how to do this. This speech has been the one thing that I have not been looking forward to about graduating as valedictorian. I've always been kind of good at talking. I've never been good at talking from a script or actually planning out what I'm going to say ahead of time. So this is probably going to be incredibly awkward and possibly embarrassing. Cliche, blah, yada, thank you, X, Y, and Z, new chapter in our lives, cliche, blah, yada. That's what I wish I could say for this, because that would mean that we could all go home much, much quicker. I can't just save you from a David speech with a storm of cliches, so I'm just going to continue on, as painfully as that may be. 13 years of taking school, 14 if you did preschool. It's kind of difficult to imagine that stretch of time. That's 2,350 school days, some 1,300 hours, some 13,000 hours of academic work, and all 12 of us managed to get that done somehow. Now we all get to collect the pieces of paper that signify that we have accomplished this feat. And this school year, I believe I speak for all of us, has probably been the hardest school year we've had thus far. Of course, it's probably the last for some of us, so yeah. And now comes the invocation of the first cliche. The first chapter of our lives are now over, and now we go to the next chapter, and we all go off to our little futures and cue second cliche and spread our nice wings to fly into the future. We all have our own individual life plans. I know some of us want to go off to university, some of us want to go off to Baptist colleges, some of us want to just go straight to the workforce, others are staying home for community colleges. I have the greatest confidence in all of us, and I wish the greatest success to everyone. God has been good to us all. He has provided us with a ways and a means of acquiring a solid education. He has protected us when we were doing things both productive and inane. He sustains us spiritually, and now we are here receiving our diplomas in what I think is one of the most appropriate places for us to receive our diplomas, a church. This church in particular is such an appropriate place, at least for me, and for a good number of the people in our class, for all the innumerable memories it holds, all the things we've done here. And now that I've gone through the part about God, now comes the second most important part, thanking everyone. It's only right to thank everyone, after all, because they've helped us, and it wouldn't be possible without them all. I'd like to thank parents first, especially Mom, for being able to translate chicken scratch and moon logic on paper into handwriting and math problems. And I'd also like to thank the extended family members, aunts, uncles, grandparents, great-aunts, various assorted combinations of great aunt and parent, any non-parent teachers, college professors, extracurricular teachers, any of those people who have encouraged us and shared in our success in the past and are sharing in our success now. And also for all of the time and money they've poured into us and how now we're here at our first point of success. I'd also like to thank on behalf of all 12 of us, Miss Charlotte. Where is Miss Charlotte? Is she in here? There she is, all the way in the back, for doing all of the administrative tasks and paperwork, complicated stuff that made our little pieces of paper called diplomas possible. And also for Mrs. Husted for being the high school senior guidance counselor, organizer, frantic, scrambly around person. And finally, the school board. I don't actually know who makes up the school board. Can the school board people raise their hands, please? You're not a school board member. Well, thank you to all, and now we go off for the glory of God and the spreading of His truth, and also, after all those things, for the Lord, for our own prosperity, just like Mr. Saint said. Thank you all. I have no idea how to close this, so I'm just going to say closing now.
How does one follow that? I'm almost speechless. Actually, David, I was really looking forward to your speech, and I think you did an excellent job. Well done.